We weren't looking to do, Warlord metal, new metal, Warlord reggae,
right.
Warlord Rammstein or whatever. We weren't looking to do that. We knew
that would be cool. Let's talk about the new Warlord then. You have an amazing bass player. Let's start with him. Who's playing bass on this?
Philip Bino.
Philip Bino. And who does he tour with usually?
He's out with Steve Vai a lot. He does a lot of sessions. He has a studio he lives in Arizona. And he does this thing. But interesting story about Philip. I had a band in 2007 that I started called Slavier with a vocalist named Greg Anaya. With Tribe of Gypsies, and then Wayne Finley, who played keyboards and guitar with Michael Schenker. And we were all in San Diego. Actually, Greg wasn't in San Diego, but he would come out from
Dijon
Albuquerque. Go the Italian route's okay too. You don't have to go the heavy Mayo route.
No, yeah, well, this doesn't even have any mayo in it actually.
Oh.
And if you look, see, because what's that say right there?
Jewish Deli Slaw.
Jewish Deli Slaw.
Yeah, they lied to you.
Okay.
It ain't the first time the Jews have been lied to. Anyways, Philip Bino.
We're going to go there.
Bring him back.
Philip Bino.
Slavier needed a bass player, and a friend of mine, Chad, suggested I talk to Philip. So I go to his website, and here's this dude in the middle of a field playing a cello in this beautiful shirt, and my wife tells me, I said out loud, "There's no way in hell this guy's playing with us." Turns out, since 2007 or whatever, anything that I do, Philip's my guy. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. He puts up with me. He works for free. What else can you ask for?
Right. Now, how many? No, wait a minute. Wait. I'm going to interrupt you here because you're an amazing drummer. You've played with amazing bass players. Now you're playing with Philip. How's the chemistry there? Was it easy to connect with him because you're both such phenomenal at your instrument, or was it hard to find the rhythm?
Okay, this is going to be something a drummer's going to relate to. And you're going to probably hate me when we get done with this, James. My career has been about the bass player following me, not me following the bass player. I'm not saying that we don't lock up at times, but I like to kind of push the envelope and create in such a way that it wouldn't be something that I could just listen to like a groovy bass part and kind of do that too. So even in Fate's Warning, it was me listening to the guitar, and anytime I listen to music, I'm not really listening, and please don't take offense to this, I'm not really listening to the bass per se. I'm more focused on where the vocal go. Can I accent with the vocalist? Can I accent with the guitar? Can I play counterpoint to what he's doing? Okay, he's playing a bunch of, let's say a 16th note run. Well, Mark, why don't you play a quarter note thing on the offbeat? So you're countering that, you're together, but you're not boom, boom, boom kind of together.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I don't really approach it that way. The reason, Philip, one of the reasons that we work really well together is that when we are at that point, then we start mixing things together. And I say to him, and again, you would love this as a bass player, dude, play more, play more. I go, you hear me playing a riff, get high on those strings and play with that, okay? Because to me, the bass is cool, but it's just kind of, in general, when you take the bass away and then it comes back in, sonically, it's amazing. That's that trick of leaving out the kick drum. And then when it comes popping in. And we do that quite a bit. Not necessarily in Warlord so much because that's a little different style, but A through Z and the music that we're writing there, just thinking at it from a sonic point of view, what's this going to sound like out of the speakers? Because I'll never forget listening to, I forgot which one, a Genesis record, and all of a sudden, they're playing and the whole low end kind of stops, and it's cool. But then when it comes back in, it's like a tidal wave. It's like when you get used to something, it's not that it gets boring, but it's not so special. The minute it drops out and comes back in again, it means something. So we use that as a tool in writing songs and trying to present music that's exciting. That's going to elevate somebody. As far as bass players go, it's. I'll just be very honest. I'm kind of pushing as much as I can push where I'm going.
Now, what about your guitarist? It's Eric Juris, is that his name?
In Warlord, right? Yes. It's Eric Juris.
Eric Juris from Germany.
And
he shreds.
When we, the most important thing about him, and it was Jimmy Waldo playing the keys as well, was that when we were going to do this record, we knew we had to keep it in that same Warlord sound. We weren't looking to do, Warlord metal, new metal, Warlord reggae,
Right.
Warlord Rammstein or whatever. We weren't looking to do that. We knew
That would be cool.
Let's just keep it where it is. I'm too old to have to go do that stuff. But it's just we had to keep it in that thing because I knew we could do whatever we wanted. And if it came out sounding too new, we never use samples. We're not using samples now. It's just guys playing. And no, Eric did an amazing job. He was the one guy who came in and really studied Bill from a music point of view, like oh, those are the Greek scales, and this is this and that and the other. It wasn't just like, dude, check out the whammy bar. He really got into it, and then more importantly, he copped his sound. That old 1980s $50 beat to crap electric mistress or whatever little thing that Bill used to use. He copped that sound, and that was really important. Jimmy did the same thing. He sat down. I had the individual files from the live album, so I had all the sounds, and I sent Jimmy all the keyboard sounds saying, here's the sounds. And he, that's the mini moog, and that's the ARP, and that's this. So it's very true to that Warlord sound. We'd always been more of a live recording thing than get in there and cut it to the grid and align it and make perfect harmonies. And it's it's gone today, but I remember when we were making records in the 80s and 90s, the mistakes were kind of the cool things.
Yeah.
They weren't mistakes like, the guy screwed it up, but those little weird things. And the guy that I remember that I loved the most was, Sammy Hagar on that first Montrose record. And he's singing, and you just hear that emotion on that last line. And I could hear today, no, do it again. You went over the bar, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just that spontaneous rock and roll thing. And that's what we did on that record, without a doubt.
Yeah, I had someone tell me that Axl Rose did Appetite for Destruction, right? Mm-hmm. Appetite, and he did one line at a time to get it perfect, right? And my first response when I heard that is, God, that's an amazing perfectionist. No wonder why no one could work with him. That had to drive the rest of the band crazy. And secondly, did Led Zeppelin do that? No, I don't think so. I think they walked into the studio, said roll tape, and laid it down, and walked out and got laid.
That's true to a point. But then there's another story that goes around. I think it was Martin Birch doing Heaven and Hell. I think with Ronnie Dio with that Sing Me a Song, I'm a Singer. Supposedly 8 hours.
Yeah.
Supposedly
Okay.
But and it's like I'm thinking to myself, if Dio has to do that, what? How can we do it? I mean, what's left for us? I mean, So,
yeah, but you guys nailed it, and you didn't, and it'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, because they're going to say that you're only doing this for a money grab. So why?
Well, that the only reason I'm here is for the free meal, right?
Well,
I got no money. Okay. So
no, you make a lot of money off that building. Don't lie to us now.
That's a little blood, sweat, and tears story, but we'll talk about that later. Anybody who's doing records these days, unless you're a major artist, there's no money. The real truth to the matter is the label High Roller is phenomenal. Amazing packaging, great guys. They're not being cheap by any means. It's just kind of what the business is these days. And if everybody in this band didn't really have a home studio, there's no way you could. If we had to go into a place, $1,000 a day place,
right.
No, it would never happen.
So why did you do it?
Loving the music. It's the only reason I do anything music-wise, or the big payoff, like we talked about, like big load of cash.
Take a big load of cash.
I'll play with anybody, anytime.
I hear that.
Just the love of it. There was also something about playing in a band with guys that you love, guys that you trust. I've had some experiences like everybody else has. You put 150% into it. You're doing everything. You're doing it right. You're taking care of everybody, and then basically it turns into a big flake show. Mm-hmm. Usually with people you don't know that well. So it was kind of important that when we were going to do this, I've known Giles forever. I've known Giles since whenever the Keep It True was, 2013. I don't know when it was.
13.
It's been a while, and we've done a lot of different businesses. When he got me into the Grand Bonnet Band, and we went on the road, and we spent time together, and he did a lot of deals, and so I was very comfortable with him. Jimmy Waldo I was very comfortable with because I'd worked with him before. Philip, obviously, I always used to say about Philip, and also my friend Nick Van Dyke, is probably a few guys that I leave my car keys, my kids, and my checkbook with and not worry about it.
Yeah.
But And then
I'm
Eric,
not on that list.
not I don't know you that well. Depends how this tastes.
Right.
But Eric, we had a lot of people inquire. Again, if I flash back to that 1980s and that word poser.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we had people come in promising the moon and and this was great. And then they disappear for a month. And we're talking known people. Like we're talking like guys that have been in bands. It might not have been Richie Blackmore, but it was guys. Like it was, and it was like, oh my God, here we go again. I thought to myself, oh, right back in the demo pool. It's like it's been since the 80s since we had to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Eric did everything professionally, did it by the book, turned in his tracks on time, like when he was supposed to. It's just pro, and he's just turned into a very, very valuable asset for the band. What I really like about him too is he's volunteering to do things like the website and this, that, and the other, where he's into it. That's an investment. Like Dennis Miller says, now that's making an investment.
It is, absolutely. It's
and those are the those are band guys as compared to, wait a minute, where's the money, kind of thing. It's a band guy. Hopefully he sees something. Maybe he just wants to hang out with a bunch of old dudes. I don't know. But he's really like going out of his way and like on an everyday basis.
That's awesome.
The website, the Twitter. Because I'm not into that. I don't have.
Yeah.
I probably have the time, but I don't have the energy. And to be honest, I don't have the knowledge. I just don't with all the social stuff. I kind of fake my way around a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard.
But this guy has it down. Like all of a sudden, boom, there's this website with 12 pages of going.
Right.
That would probably take me like a year and a half. And then it would be spelled wrong.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Mark does participate in the Facebook group Mark Zonder Fans Unite, I believe is the name of that group. And he actually does show up there once in a while, interacts with the fans. Not a lot of musicians do that. So
oh no, it's
you might want to take advantage of that.
A buddy of mine did that one. I mean, I've got my own page too. He's Mark Zonder.
He's got his own page, his own YouTube channel.
On the YouTube stuff, I answer everybody's question. If someone's going to take the time and the energy to write something that's intelligent and and want to know something kind of technical, what does it take me? 12 seconds?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it's really nice of you, because a lot of people don't.
They don't, but I look at it this way, just like today, it's kind of all a sales pitch. It's not a sales pitch. It's an advertisement. I'm advertising. You might not like it, but at least I've advertised it.
Right.
So, but especially drum guys, like that. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I wrote letters, never got a damn response from anybody that I ever wrote. Emsley Dunbar never wrote me back. Never.
Oh, we're making the food. Okay. Oh, the sandwich. Are the sandwiches ready? Do you want to put mayonnaise in this? We can throw some mayonnaise in here.
A touch always. You can never go wrong
with
a little bit.
Mayonnaise, sir? Mayonnaise.
A little bit you can never go wrong with.
Okay, all right.
Or you can go the Italian style that just has the vinegar and...
Yeah, that's what I did. Well, that's like
cool.
I said, they lied.
Yeah, they did, yeah. The one thing you can kind of go with, any Jewish food is going to be heavy.
Yeah,
so This isn't diet stuff, okay?
Right.
I think the only dieting was coming out of Egypt with Moses. And I think it was diet time. But,
Woo! That was perfect. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's get back to Fate's Warning. And so how'd you get the gig?
Well, no, Jim Matheos was a big Warlord fan, and I had done a lot of drum tuning with Bill Matoyer at Metal Blade on all these various Metal Blade bands. And I'd done a couple Fate's Warning records. As it turns out, Jim was a really big Warlord fan. And basically what was happening was they were changing their style a little bit. And Jim asked me if I wanted to play, and I said if I wanted to join the band, I said, well, I'll be honest with you, if it's anything like No Exit, your last record that had more of a thrash kind of feel to it, I said, I'm not your guy. I'm just not your guy. And I go, I won't be happy, you won't be happy. Kind of, I'll be, trying to shove all this stuff in there.
Right,
goes, No. We're trying to break away from that, and I have different stuff. So he sent me some material, and I just sat down and was playing with it, and the rest is kind of history. And back in the day, we do that thing where we had the phone and we'd hold it up to the speaker so he could hear kind of stuff. It wasn't the internet file thing.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
We had that perfected.
Yeah.
Perfected. Forget sending a tape and it would get beaten up in the mail or whatever. Like, dude, what do you think of this fill?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the reason I left is, I'm in the band 15 years. Great times, learned a lot, played a lot of great gigs, did a lot of great records, loved the recording process. Jim was nothing but professional, top to bottom, all the way around. Sometimes our personalities didn't exactly go the best together, but when it came to music and professionalism and all that kind of stuff. It was just pro.
Yeah, yeah.
No question about it. Every penny paid. Every penny
And the fans loved every single album.
It got to that point. I'm living in New York. I'm getting married. Okay. We're talking about kids. And Fates Warning was the kind of band where at any given notice, it'd be like, hey, man, 2 weeks we're going out with Queensryche. If you're running a business, you got a family, it's really tough to do that. And again, we're not talking massive money.
Right.
Love the band, love the recording
yeah.
projects, loved the touring. And it just got to that point where I just couldn't do that. Also, in all sincere honesty, the band was kind of on a decline. You have to remember the time and the place. Grunge was coming in. I mean, we do Parallels. Does amazingly well. It's all over the radio. Supposedly we're supposed to get picked up with Warner Brothers through the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever happens, it doesn't. And all of a sudden we can't get a lunch. You know, we're selling like 175 or whatever it was. And it was all over the place. We couldn't get a lunch, you know. Oh, you guys don't have tattoos and you don't have dreads? Next. It was just really bad time. So the band was kind of in a decline. We were playing the same clubs to the same people. And it was just kind of getting to that point. That I would have kept going, but when the family came into view, you had to kind of balance like, okay, what am I getting out of this as compared to what I'm giving up? And I just went to Jim and I said, hey, you know, the formula that we have, you, me, and Ray, I think it's a great formula. Let's not kill the golden goose. I don't need to be in the band. You can pay me whatever you want. It's not even about money, but I would love to continue to do the records, and then you could use someone else live. Not like a million bands don't do that.
Right.
But he told me just flat out, and I appreciate his honesty. He goes, well, we really want someone that is going to do the album and do the touring. And I said, okay, great. No problem. And that's
and I know you're still on good terms, especially with Ray's the singer, right?
Well, Ray's the singer in
A through Z.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but Jim had me play on the Matheos Arch record. So no, we're business associates, I guess you could say. We don't hang.
Right.
You know, I talk to Bones all the time, the bass player from Fates Warning, because we used to get along because he was in the Swartz too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just, you know, it just kind of went. You know, if when he needed something, not that he needed it because he had like 3 or 4 different drummers, he had no problem contacting me, and I had no problem saying, hey, that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Right on. Well, that's good to know from a fan perspective.
Oh, no.
There's no animosity there, anything. You left on good terms.
No one.
So there's a chance for a reunion.
Yeah, we did that already.
Did you?
Yeah.
When did you do that?
The whole Parallels reunion.
Oh, yes.
I forgot when, but hey, if we're still alive.
Yeah,
still
right.
alive. But no, you know, no one stole anybody's checkbook or banged the girlfriend. Or, you know,
right. Yeah, that stuff.
No,
right. Good deal.
It was just straight business. It was like, this is a decision I made in my life, and this is where I'm looking to do. And if it doesn't work with you guys, I understand it, but I'd like it to work.
Yeah.
And I was wide open. But you can't get past that. You can get past money, but you can't get past, no, we need a guy that does both. You know, so they found their guy in Bobby, and now he's playing with George Strait.
Yeah,
so
I know. He's one of my favorite drummers too. He was in Riot.
Yep.
He was in Sabbath briefly.
Okay. Watchtower with his brother.
Yeah, so he's one of my favorite drummers. So they're doing good there too. All right, we need to do the French fries and the sandwiches. So, Mr. Pulli, sir, can you do the air fryer, please? Since it's yours.
Wait a minute. We don't have the big nasty.
No, we don't.
15-year-old oil thing that we're all gonna.
I have one at home. I didn't bring it because I didn't want to spill the oil. Exactly.
You and me would die of a heart attack if we ate that.
Oh,
stuff.
I know.
The veins would go.
I use peanut oil like you're supposed to.
It doesn't matter, man.
It doesn't matter. I know. It doesn't.
Oil. Think about it.
So what is musically speaking? What project do you take the most pride in? Which project do you sit back and go, you know, that's Mark Zonder right there?
I would have to say A through Z. And the reason I would say that is I started it by myself. It was a very lonely band at that point. But it was my idea, my concept. I produced it. I backed it financially. I took care of everything. I picked up the towels. I brought out the Gatorade. It was one of those things where, like, okay, Mark, if you have this vision, then you need to be ready to take the responsibility for the whole thing. And it turned out amazing, you know. And so that because that was me. You know, I sat down and said, okay, you know, all this kind of prog stuff is cool and everything, and it's great, you know. But I always say on the tombstone, critical acclaim is overrated. The whole idea of A through Z was beer commercial, car commercial, and Cobra Kai. It was like rock music that everybody loves, and they would crank up in their car, big hooks, but guys that could really play.
Yeah.
So it crossed that border. And I thought when I did it, it was like, okay, if you're going to do this, you got to do it right. You don't like have you know your 12-year-old kid do your album cover for you. You know, you don't you don't mix it yourself. You know what I mean? So I went for it. I had Hugh Syme, who did all the Rush stuff, do the album cover, because I've known Hugh since the Fates Warning days.
Yeah, right on.
Simone in Italy, great mixer, mixed it. None of these guys are cheap, but that was the point. I don't want cheap. If I want cheap, I'll mix it myself and I'll do the artwork.
Right.
But you know, also the fact of like, okay, this is old school, 14-page booklet or whatever it is, art on each page. This was like 1975 all over again.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm most proud of, because that was me. You know, Warlord was Bill and I. Other bands, you know, I became part of the band. But that one is like, I can sit back and go, there's nothing about this I don't like, except for maybe some of the guys in the band, but that's different. But I controlled this. That's not true. I controlled this, and I proved to myself that I could do it.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you get involved in things, and it's like this great idea on paper and in your head, and then when it rolls out, you know. But I did learn a very, very valuable lesson that I think back to other bands that I played in where other guys are in my role, and I think Phil Ehart said it best when he said, because he's managed Kansas for like 40 years or whatever, and we're friends and whatever, and he goes, you know, Mark, some people just aren't manageable, you know, and I kind of got that lesson now, how a manager feels dealing, you know, and Bino said it best after the first record was done. He goes, man, I thought recording the record was supposed to be the hard part.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, so I learned a lesson. I learned a lot. You know, the second record is done. It just needs to be mixed. Again,
we have a different lineup than we did on the first one.
Oh yeah, you know, not to get too incestuous.
Kind of pick up a story here.
Not to get incestuous, but Jimmy Waldo is playing the keyboards.
Yeah.
And my good buddy Nick Van Dyke from the band Redemption.
Oh.
I was playing guitar, and Simone Molaroni, who actually mixes it, he has his own band in Italy, is an amazing guitar player. He's playing all the leads.
Oh, sweet.
It's a heavier record. It's a thicker record. It's more edgy. Still has the big chorus. Ray's still singing. But it has a little bit more prog to it, but not prog in a light way. Prog in a heavier kind. It's not like
they're gonna fall.
It's not like we're setting the world on fire and reinventing the wheel, but it's different than the first record. The first record was a little lighter where it came to keyboard.
Yeah.
The guitar playing on this is just absolutely phenomenal.
And where is it? Where are you in the process with this album?
It's about to be mixed in the next 2 weeks.
About to be mixed in the 2 weeks. So, now the first album just came out. Did like last year, 2 years? Right?
August, a year ago, August.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're doing that. You're doing this. You're doing the new album. When do you have time? And I know you live at home with your family. When do you have time to see them?
It's interesting when your kids get older how they're never around. It's amazing how much time.
It's a good thing.
It's amazing how much time you have, you know. And by the way, to anybody out there that just had kids, no, it doesn't get easier as time goes by.
No, it does not get easier.
That's the big joke they tell you when you're, it's going to get easier. No, it's a whole different thing. I think it's easier when they're young because you can just pick them up, bam, there you go.
Pick them up, put them wherever you want, and you can dress them however you want to.
Oh, not now.
You know, I know. Here, put this on. I know.
I was one of my family that was most likely to go to juvenile hall.
Yeah.
I actually had the nerve to say to my mom, who put you in charge?
Oh, that went over well.
Well, I woke up in the hospital, and we kind of went from there.
He's kidding. He did not.
No, she hit me with a wooden spoon, though. What she did is she turned around.
Yeah.
It's funny how I just happened to be right there with that wooden, you know. Or the better one was when I said to her, I'm not doing that. That's woman's work.
Oh.
That didn't go well.
You did not say that to your mom.
And guess who cleans our house?
Yeah, it better be you. Yeah, it better be.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be talking to your wife if it's not.
No, absolutely.
So I know you're super busy and you got all this stuff going on. Do you have any interests, hobbies outside of music? Do you have time?
Really. I mean, working out, and you know, I like working out just because I'm getting older, and I know that you know, things slow down. Sometimes you have those little memory gap things. I mean, you're just getting older. So I'm thinking, you know, and I've seen it in other people, what happens if you don't take care of yourself as time goes on. I mean, I would love to sit around all day and just eat.
Yeah.
Do I love going to the gym? No.
Yeah.
If you
No,
could tell me
right,
I could take this pill and get the same result.
Well, actually, they have them now.
Well, yeah, but they didn't tell you about the side effects, like when your kidney falls out of your body, you know, or you piss out your liver.
Just minor details. Come on.
No. There's not. The one thing I did learn from my mom early on, there's no easy way.
There is no easy way.
There's no cure, because if there was, we'd all be doing it.
Right.
But no, it's that.
Do you like to read?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite genre? What do you like to read?
James Patterson, Robert Parker, that kind of stuff. My son, who's actually very religious, has me on all kinds of stuff now that I'm reading. It's very interesting. He got smart. He didn't just stick the Torah in front of me and said, read this. There's different authors that have written in a very street kind of way that you can really get into, and it doesn't alienate you. Because that's the big thing, I think, people that I've talked to in any religion, when it's just, you just don't get it, you kind of shy from it. But he's turned me on some really, really, really cool things they're very interesting and very thought-provoking. But, you know, I like to read, playing the drums, driving one of my kids around. I'm just keeping it all together. The studio has its moments when it's doing really well and it just runs. But, you know, you're talking about 10 clients.
And your studio is always booked, isn't it? I mean, you always got something going on there.
Yeah, I've been lucky that over the years, you know, it was rehearsal for about 17 years, and for the last 12 or 13 or whatever it's been, it's all rehearsal. I mean, it's like recording. You know, it's funny. It made a big shift. Last 3 or 4 years, especially when COVID hit and everybody had money, it was just rap and R&B, and it was not a musical instrument in the site. Now it's changed, and I see guys wheeling amps in to do sessions.
Yeah, right on.
It's changed.
It's really changed. We like real musicians.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny because I had this new client. He was really cool. I looked him up, and in that world, he's big. Not big, but he's well known. He drives a real nice car. For a 22-year-old kid, he drives a real nice car. And I see through my cameras that they're hauling these like amps. I see an orange head. I think, what, Pete Townsend's here? I mean, what's going on? I say to him, I write him a text. I go, dude, didn't we talk about like no musical instruments in the building when you signed the lease? And he freaked. And I had to tell him, like, dude, I'm just joking. I go, it made my day seeing those amps roll down those aisles.
Hell yeah.
'Cause that's what it used to be. I mean, it was, you know, 10 rooms, completely packed, locked out. It was going crazy. I got very, very lucky in a certain time, hooked into a couple management companies, and we had, you know, the younger bands, and we had the older bands, and everything in between, and it was a great era. I mean, it was a great era. You could walk down the hallway at any time. Alanis Morissette would be over there. Puddle of Mudd would be over there. Seether would be over there, and these were all before a lot of these bands broke.
Right.
You know, because they ain't coming back to me after they broke. we're going to SIR or Third Encore or whatever.
Yeah, but they're doing their first album with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's stories, and you know, and I probably should write a book. The funniest story is when I was in the original Warlord Manor, I wound up with all 10,000 square feet of the building. And the Chili Peppers used to rehearse it, and this is when they were under the bridge.
Yeah,
was coming out.
Yeah.
And that building was a dump. It was a dump. You know, it was built by me and my boy Joe Bob, who's a construction guy, and hook 'em by crook. It was, you know, I got scars from the drywall. We did it. I mean, like,
you built the building.
We built the whole thing.
Really?
We built the whole thing. But it was a dump. Okay, it was a dump. Chili Peppers were there. Everything was cool. They loved it. I bought the building over on Vaux Street, which is actually down the street from Joe's Garage, which was Frank Zappa's studio. And I've been there for about 25 years, whatever. And it was built ground up. I designed it, curved walls. It was beautiful.
Man.
It's beautiful. Chili Peppers step in and said, "We can't rehearse here. It's way too clean." True story. True story. They didn't dig that vibe. I mean, it was tight. Yeah. I mean, I probably should write a book. I mean, it's just it goes on and on. Ice-T was there when that whole cop killer thing was going down. My guy Jerry Cantrell was there.
Ooh,
it goes on and on.
He's my son's favorite guitar player.
We had all the big PAs, the lighting rigs, and in the whole nine. It got to that point where it died.
Yeah.
Because the music business died. Yeah. Here's an example. The Counting Crows were my first big band. Okay.
Wow.
So
that's pretty big.
They come in. Hey, we need to lock it out for 6 months. We're going to do our record. Just bill them book rate. Okay, cool. Everything's good. Toward the end, it was like, hey man, we need 3 weeks and we need a deal. the music business just shifted. The labels weren't giving the band the money that they used to give them. All of a sudden, my rooms that were considered mid-sized to small, I mean, they were 20 by 25 as compared to Third Encore, now were gigantic. Kids would come in and go, oh my God, this is so big. It's just, it shifted. So then I went and I just changed every room to a recording suite, put in a sand-loaded wall in front of what I'd already built with a 21-inch wall. And because I knew 10 years prior in the front, I built a real studio. This is when I had money. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. Money was flying.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Steven Adler locked out my big room for 9 months. 270 days, showed up 9 days maybe.
Wow.
I cried when he left.
Yeah.
I sat Shiva. It was horrible. it was horrible. But I mean, money back in those days, it was flying. So I was putting it all back into the studio. Oh, I was buying gear like I was going out of style, you know. And I built a real room, and it was always booked because the recording studio was cool. So then I thought, okay, don't spend 120 grand like you did in that room. I mean, it was a professional studio building. Stephen Klein. Rooms tuned, off the floor. There's the right way, lead line plywood. And I went and I just changed each room over, and then it turned in. That's where that rap, hip hop, R&B kind of thing got really big.
I see.
You know, so it was very lucky. But the rock thing.
Yeah.
It almost like on a one day it was, the next day it wasn't.
And is it coming back now? Who's using your space now?
It's all just individual producers and engineers.
Yeah.
The guys that that are doing work and they're bringing other clients in. They're developing artists because there's a lot of that developing artist where I had a guy in there that Ed Sheeran was in there for a while. He was actually in there, believe it or not, hanging out with The Game. I don't know if you know who Game or The Game. It's a rap guy.
Yeah,
he was a big guy. Yeah, I know. It was like a big guy, but there's a great. I want to talk about a story for the book. Oh my God. Anyways, let's leave that aside. But no, there was guys like that. They were coming in. They would just do their thing. They needed a space away, is what it was, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing. But they're trying to produce artists, and they do that kind of Lou Pearlman thing where they own everything of the artist. They record them, they produce them, and there's been a couple big successes that have, I don't know the names or anything, but I've heard from the other guys. Yeah. Not my market, not my world. Right. I couldn't tell you. They don't,
They don't know who you are either.
No, exactly. But yeah, it's worked out. It was, I always said, journey never called, but buying that building and developing that business is what allows me to play all day. Because I never wanted to be that guy that relied on, a corporate gig or a cover gig to eat. I just saw that really early on. Like, I don't have the fortitude to do that. I'd be freaking out. And I've worked a million jobs.
How many professional musicians do you think do make it just on music alone? Because since I've been doing this, it seems like everyone I've interviewed, no matter how big I think they are, has a side gig, a real quote unquote job. Unless you're Metallica,
it's kind of that
you
way.
have a day 9-to-5 job,
or unless you were lucky enough to hit it big with something, and the other kicker though, it's not what you make, it's what you spend. So if you're smart with your money, and there's a couple guys out there that have done, like I think Greg Giuffria did something like incredible, nothing to do with music, but there's guys like that. But the expression is multiple streams of income.
I see. Okay.
Those days, and I miss them dearly, of Bon Jovi and we're a band and we're going to live and die together.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. And, how dare you play in another band kind of thing. Those are gone. Everybody needs to do whatever they can to survive because the labels just aren't going. I could say that it's definitely, again, Metallica, different story. Green Day, different story. But, local guys or guys that have had certain things, those budgets have been crushed, coming down like 80%, 70%. I remember the days, of going to Metalworks in Toronto, which is Triumph Studio, with Terry Brown, who engineered, all the Rush, or a lot of the early Rush records and stuff like that, or produced them. And money was flying, because record sales were up and everything that went into it. But boy, did that change.
Are those done? They should be.
We're getting there.
Okay. Besides the rye bread, it's like what goes on the rye bread? A lot of people ask, well, like you asked, lettuce, tomato, onion. Usually in the normal world, I put all that on, pile it up high, go crazy on it. Mayonnaise, mustard, salsa, whatever. But the traditional is just the rye bread, and it's got to be fresh, which this is. And this, your basic yellow mustard and the corned beef. There's kind of an interesting story where, again, corned beef comes into play on my birthday, where my parents are taking us out to eat, and we're going to some deli in San Mateo. I guess it was called Brothers or whatever. And that's where the, whatchamacallit, black cherry.
Dr. Brown's black cherry
Dr. Brown.
soda.
But anyway, so I have this girlfriend who's not Jewish.
Uh-oh.
And she, she puts out the thing, and she starts putting ketchup on. And my mom almost fell off the end of the table. And my mom, God bless her to her dying day, would always talk about that. We always talk about that. What the hell was she thinking, putting the ketchup on?
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. But no, what we did was just simple mustard. Nothing else was added to it. But
those Gentiles, man.
what can you say? Those goys. What can you
say?
Right.
But, there's the word I was looking. I don't know that word, man. I'm sorry. I have some Jewish friends, not enough.
Yeah. Don't use that around the knife. That's not.
That's not a good one?
No. But it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of the more down and dirty and nastier, the better.
Yeah.
The greasier the fries, the better.
Right on.
The more mayonnaise. Well, they need to be greasy.
Sorry.
Add some grease.
Not coming out of an air fryer. They're not going to be greasy.
I didn't buy any lard.
Right?
That's what you need. It's called schmaltz.
Right?
Yeah. They wonder why
big
people.
Pieces of bread.
They wonder why people in the 1920, born in the 20s and the 30s, were like dying off at 55. So, we're going to add just more fat to that beef.
Right.
It's called schmaltz.
Dude, my grandmother made suet pudding for Christmas.
What is that?
Suet pudding. Oh my God. Dude, suet is animal fat.
Fat.
It was a fat pudding.
It's schmaltz. Yeah, it was good though.
Oh God, it was awesome.
No. Yeah, and they wonder why the arteries clogged up.
Right.
Please. But no, this is the healthy version.
All right. All right. Let's get their meat here.
You know that we can't eat bread for the rest of the week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah.
All the carbs. Can't have the carbs.
Our one ration.
Can't have the carbs.
Right. Well, that's you guys. I don't follow that diet myself.
So here's a little.
She does.
Okay. There's a little trick.
Oh, yes.
But watch this.
Oh,
I'm sure everybody's done that.
Yeah.
Oh, equal spreading.
Look at that, dude.
Hey, that's like artistic.
What
Man,
can you say?
look at that.
Put a little
Thunderchild knows how to make a sandwich.
little TC.
So where'd you guys get these nicknames here for Warlord?
Well, that was part of Bill's grand scheme of like the movie and everything where it was more important about the band than the individual players. But really quick, great Warlord stories about food. What we did for dinner was, since we didn't have any money, there was a Mexican bakery around the corner that made these cookies about this big. They were a quarter, okay, and they were good. I'd go get 4, I'd eat them, I'd feel so sick I wouldn't be hungry. So it worked out really well. What we also did, we'd go to Little Tony's Pizza in North Hollywood.
Oh.
There'd be like 4 of us, and they took a little pity on us, I think a little. They knew we were starving. We ordered the small cheese pizza, but with extra thick crust.
Oh,
so we could
fill you up a little, yeah.
And this is a good story about Bill. Bill's the type of guy, he'd get $200, let's just say, from his dad or whatever, once a month. First thing he would do is he'd take all of us out to eat at the Greek diner at Sitton's down the street. Then he'd go across the street, spend the rest of the money at 7-Eleven on a carton of cigarettes, chips, and drinks and stuff like that. But what we do at the Sitton's restaurant, now this is how you eat on a diet. For $1, you'd get a baked potato. And they had, it was a dinner house, Greek diner.
Right.
But, okay, I need the extra sour cream.
Right.
Oh.
I need the onions.
Absolutely.
I need the tomatoes on top of that.
Please.
And whatever else you could find. And all of a sudden, that $1, it would fill you up for the whole time.
It's like a stone soup.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you say so. What the hell is stone soup?
Oh, long story.
Okay. But no, we didn't have any money. And we had to buy drumsticks, strings, and survive and pay rent and everything else. So we didn't have any money. And as much as you're working 3 jobs, and doing different things, it was just, it was difficult. So we made by. We weren't eating corned beef sandwiches. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, this corned beef isn't cheap, people.
Nope.
Just so you know, that's kosher corned beef there that I got at the Beverly Hills Kosher Market. I want to plug them so maybe they can give us some sponsorship next time. We got the bread. We got the bread at Livonia Jewish Market, also in Beverly Hills. That's also not cheap.
Oh, Believe me, you're talking to the wrong guy if you want to talk about
So,
keeping how much
Yeah,
keeping kosher.
this
costs.
Jewish food, this kosher food, dude. I could have bought Hillshire Farm corned beef. I could have faked it. I could have, I don't know,
It's about 4 times as much.
waved it over the Torah
Yeah,
and made
yeah,
it kosher.
yeah.
Would that work? Is that how that works?
Let me think about that. No.
No.
Send no direction.
No.
Right?
Don't forget the soda. We got
No,
the
no.
soda
Yes,
there.
we got the soda
Dr.
here.
That's
Brown's.
another. That's
Yes.
a bottle of wine right there.
I-
Yes.
2 Cokes
Hey.
or a bottle of wine.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, see, we
I
had to
would
get
not. I would not.
to
I gotta
continue
have it.
with Thunder Child's childhood dream
Yep.
and reminiscence. We did have to get the authentic Dr. Brown's black cherry soda,
There
which
it
is
is.
about $10 a can.
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely.
No, it's
So-
$16 a can.
$16 a can. No, it was not.
Okay, well, that was with a tip.
Right.
This is the best stuff right here. Actually,
It is. My dad would agree with you.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
black cherry. No, it is. We used to go to that back then. We had to go to San Mateo to a deli that had that. You couldn't find that in the market. like
Yeah,
you
no,
can
you
today.
can't. It's the best.
No.
It's the best. All right, let's make our sandwiches. Neat. Go ahead. You're up first,
Get
guest.
glasses for that, and you can share the food.
What?
I want to taste that.
Share?
Well, I want to taste what the hell that's all about if it costs $16
Right.
a freaking.
So wait a minute. The Jewish guy's not bitching about money, but you guys are.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, come on.
No, we're
hey,
not
hey,
bitching
we're,
about
we don't, we
This
don't, we're
is
not,
fine.
we're not stereotypical here,
is all
Mark.
right.
Okay. Okay.
So what Jew are you? Where are your parents from? Was it your grandparents or your parents?
no, it's all the way down the line. Ashkenaz from Russia. My brothers traced it back to Belarus. Is where it's kind of coming from.
Yeah. So who came here first?
My grandfather came Ellis Island. We have the certificate. He changed his name at Ellis Island. It was not
Yeah.
Jaworski. It was my son knows it inside and out. But we have the certificate, and he changed his last name to Ross.
Oh.
So it fit in a little easier than Jaroslav. Oh, that's
Right.
what it was. It was Jaroslav. is what it was
Jaroslav?
original. Yeah.
Did you lose any family members in the Holocaust?
Not directly that I know about, but what happened was my dad's dad out of Russia came here, and his brothers went to Israel. So we have relatives in Israel.
Have you ever been
family.
there? Have you been
No.
there? No.
No, I know that's the place to go.
Dude.
I know. Well, I made this vow a long time ago. I'm only going if someone else is paying for it on tour.
Yeah.
I think at this point in the game, I might have to give that one up.
Right.
And just go. You
I would
Yeah,
love.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna find them on tour.
Eh. Hey, Vi goes there, but they have
Who
they
does?
Vi.
Oh, Vi does.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, he goes. They go like not strange places, but like they go everywhere.
Okay. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Coleslaw needs a little.
So if
bit
you want to
more.
really do this Jewish style, we stand around like we're at a
Please.
kiddush.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't sit down. You got to stand and try to balance this and eat it at the same
Right.
I'd
time.
love to. I'm all about
no.
the authenticity.
No.
Jewish. Dude, that sounds an awful lot like Irish too.
Fine.
Yeah,
so-
it's. I'm
I'm
sure
just-
it's in the same, but it's
By all means, have a seat. I'll
Oh.
get you a napkin.
Thank you. Oh, shoulder's good.
Okay.
Oh, that's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so
Right.
much.
You know what the TC's for?
No, I can't. Well, I can't see it
Thunder
upside
Child.
down anyway. Oh, of course, dude.
Because,
There we go. Yeah.
Because you'll never understand what the hell the
Right,
signature
right,
is.
yeah.
What's that? It looks like a scribble.
Yeah, but no. As we wrap this up, once again, I'd like to apologize to Billy Sheehan. We ran out of time and we had to bump him, and hopefully we can hook up next time and get him on next show. Thank you so much, masticators. It's a wrap.
Italian market.